Hi guys, I'm here to discuss with you spiritual courage. I've done so many readings lately, and now more than ever prior to my surgeries, and boy have I discovered so many people seem to really be tapping into that deep spiritual courage like never before. You know, it reminds me when I was a teenager. I was just a kid, and I used to pore over the books by my mentor, my savior, Edgar Cayce, the Sleeping Prophet. And I was always fascinated by these books on Earth changes, on Atlantis. I mean, they were mind-blowing back in those days in the 60s. But you know what was most interesting? I remember his predictions on one of the major Earth changes that would happen in Japan. He suggested that a major portion of Japan at some point would break off and fall into the ocean because the continental shelf off of Japan is so deep. It was such a frightening concept, but I thought to myself, you know, it resonates. And when something resonates, it's true. So, you know, sometimes I think the problem with us psychics, though, the problem for us even, is that timing can always be a little askew. If you could predict the exact time of everything, then you would no longer be a psychic, you'd be God. But at least the temperament of the read, the sense of the read, the direction or the feeling or the essence of where it's supposed to go, should ultimately, though, come to pass regardless if you're off. So when Cayce said Earth changes would occur in the late 60s, and we're seeing now some of the atrocities and the sadness and the Earth changes that are occurring in Japan right now, you know, it took 40 years or so for some of these things to occur, but they're happening. So the point is, maybe to some people 40 years is an awfully long space of time, but in the continuum of eternity, in the billions of years it took to make this universe, 40 years is nothing. Those people have had to navigate great strength. So we all do now more than ever. I'm a very lucky guy, because I've got hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of people, friends, white light workers, Reiki practitioners that are saying prayers for me. They're putting out energies so that I would be okay this year as I go through these processes that I have to face. You know, I've been under the knife many times before. This is not something that I'm afraid of so much as it just gets to the point where, you know, you just get tired of it, that's all. So I am very grateful for that prayer. I've seen what it feels like to have people pray for you. In recovery, I've seen sparkling lights surrounding me by people that have prayed. Thank you all for what you did by praying for my dad with a stage 3 throat cancer, because Sloan Kettering has revealed it's gone. So now he's got to, of course, recover from chemotherapy and radiation. But you know what? Me and my dad are strong recoverers. So we're going to make it. But it was thanks to white light and prayer that did it. And his courage. You would have loved my mom. She was the best. I did readings for her many, many years. She always encouraged it. So did my dad. He speaks with me regularly, up until he lost his voice recently. But my dad's going to get his voice back. And we're going to speak again publicly. And if you like my voice, because it's kind of melodic, his is even better because it's deeper, so it's really cool. But you would have loved her. She was a fascinating, strong woman. And I'm really glad that I come from strong stock, because, you know, we all do, and we've got to access that strength. Now more than ever, the Earth is going to keep changing. We got to access and tap into the greatest pulse of strength that we have, and never allow yourself to forget that you have it. You've got spiritual strength, and although physical strength matters because this is the realm of duality, but ultimately what's going to get you through anything in your life is spiritual courage, strength, faith, the belief that you are loved, that you are a part of the universe, that you still belong in that time frame until such time as God receives you. But while you're here, there are many things for you to do. There's many reasons for you to be happy and be alive. I'm very blessed, and I'm very grateful for everyone that's been in my life. And I treat everyone like they're a treasure, a very valuable treasure. And recently I met a really cool guy in Iraq right now, fighting people like you and me so that we could be free, so I could do a video like this. And Tyler's awesome. I mean, what a great sense of courage. What an unbelievable inner strength he's got. For him to want to put out to me here in the States his energy for me to get through this. My God, it's bejeweled, it's bedecked, it's wonderful. Can't get enough of it. It's just awesome. Even what he showed me on Facebook, how to create a little XX and a smile, like you're laughing or smiling. I dig it. I mean, just little things, man. But you know what? When you go through stuff like this, when you're tested physically, the other side of the coin, though, sometimes is you're also, though, having to ultimately face, though, those that are not there for you. And it depends on how much you let that hurt you. There are those that are not going to be there for you. And you could go through a lot of processing as to, why don't they love me anymore? Why aren't they there for me? Why have they let me down? You know? Yeah, you could scream until your liver comes out of your mouth. But sometimes it's really not worth it. You can't really just focus on where other people come from. And sometimes you just have to love everybody and be thankful for everybody. I think the greater lesson is without becoming dependent on them. The greatest thing I could offer you is, you know what? Let it go. Check out my videos on joy, individualism, and forgiveness. I have several of them out. They go into a little bit more of depth of just how to, again, not go through the process of trying to figure out where people are coming from. Who knows? I mean, just forgive them. Let it go. You're responsible for your life. Make the best out of it. I mean, maybe we've all lived many lives. I'm convinced I have. And maybe we'll live many more. But there's only really one thing we're sure of. It's this life, and this life matters. Be a survivor. I remember many times waking up in hospitals from previous surgeries, and some very good friends were there when I opened up my eyes, dressed in bright colors that made me feel very cheerful. They brought me simple things, apples, oranges, a drink. Their presence alone mattered a lot. Just today, the door's been ringing like crazy. The postman keeps dropping off gifts from all sorts of clients of mine and people I know from all over the country and the world that are sending me tchotchkes, or even better, nice things, amulets, to protect me. I am loved, and I'm digging it. So, you know what? Don't dwell on those that are letting you down. That's their thing, that's their life story. But certainly embrace the ones that are there for you, because, you know, they're the treasures, and then hopefully one day you get to be there for them when they need you. So, that's it. This would be a perfect time then, in a moment of great white light, in great strength, when you really need to summon up as much of the inner power as possible. I'm doing that right now for you. I'm channeling strong, fiery energy. That's it. Let's see what the vibes have to say today. Okay. So in a moment of great courage, they say this. This is very important to me. This is going to be the last YouTube video I'm going to be doing for a while. So it's going to have to last. Let's get a sense of what it's saying to you and me. These energies are very powerful right now. The moon is waxing to full. It's the seed or winged moon. Sun's in Aries. The moon is going to be entering Libra. It's very balanced. Passover is approaching. So is Palm Sunday. These are magic moments in time. Those palms become the ashes of Ash Wednesday next year in 2012, the year of the dragon. So let's see what the vibrations have to say when all of us are tapping into the universality of love. Well, the first vibrational field says this. I wrote on this painting, and this is an old one. I did this painting probably in the 70s. Pure heart and emotional freedom. This is an image of a little person who dances the dance of liberation. They say sometimes in other tarot decks or divination decks, she's seen with dolphins floating in the air. They jump up in the air. Their eyes are crystals. They see everything, like kaleidoscope eyes, which I painted in this piece. Kind of good. So I like this vibe. Always be pure of heart and emotionally free. And you know what? Your karma's okay. You're clean. Okay, let's take a look at vibrational field number 2. Number 2 says this. Okay, we'll hold on to that for a minute. Number 2 says this. Okay. Number 2 says this to us. Took me a long time, but I want to make sure I got the right vibe. All that glitters. You know, ultimately, the way the heavens see everything is the aura, the sparkling, the spirit, the essence that comes from you. And in this case today, it turns out it's as silver as the moon. The moon rules the subconscious, and therein should lie your peace, your strength. Okay. And number 2. I'm sorry, that wasn't number 2. I was thinking of this because it's throwing me. There's a part B. Number 3 says this. Oh my God, I can't get over it. You can just feel its energy pulse so strong. You think that's strong? Gold is stronger. This is the year of the golden rabbit. I went out of my way to put a lot of energies around me today that were, these are daffodils cut off my front lawn. These are my forsythias. This is my Egyptian painting of the god He, the god of the East. Look to the east for every morning and every night that rises. I purposely put lots of lemons and oranges and everything golden and yellow in the energy field because that's bright, that's life enhancing. So what do we get? The moon and the sun. This time of the year, by the way, they say, the moon reflects Earth shine so brightly that even when it's in a crescent, you can see the other half of it. Okay, now by the way, as fate would have it in April, there was a 4th vibe that wanted to come out. I just find it hilarious because it's one of the videos I did 2 videos back, Le'edio. The vibrational field is number 0, Aleph, the ox that breaks new ground. It's a Kabbalistic vibe, but perfect for Passover Jewish mysticism. And what I like about this painting is, 25 years ago when I painted it, I painted 3 lemons, which are all floating around here, floating through space. And as I was painting the painting, a beautiful yellow and black striped butterfly landed on the canvas. I was so impressed with his beauty, I immortalized him in the painting and did a portrait of him while he sat on the canvas. Nature's fascinating. Anyway, may you be in tune with nature. May you be a survivor. I just noticed as I flipped the deck over. May you always be living in a world where it's happily ever after. I love you, and I know you love me. And by the way, as an addendum to the read, as I'm on my way out the door, if the doctors should lose me during the surgery, you can always contact me through the Ouija board.